Why should you try one meal a day? The stigmatization of refraining from eating isn't anything new and has consistently created walls that have prevented people from even venturing into the world of fasting. You see, fasting has never been anything new. We have been fasting for years, and as a matter of fact, our bodies had to mold into accepting the notion that food was scarce. It's not hard to comprehend. Food was not readily available as it is today. There's probably a McDonald's 15 minutes from where you're sitting right now. But does that mean you should go out and eat it simply because it's there? Just think about it. Just to simplify how the natural selection would have happened, I could do it just like this. A group of people live together, they hunt, and return every day for survival. Anyone who lacks the ability to store fat effectively will have a very hard time maintaining the allotted amount of energy needed to sustain life over time. Unpredictable occurrences when it comes to the capturing of food would inevitably happen. Animals are aware of the humans, so there's the potential for them to flee. Animals can be aggressive to protect themselves, thus injuring or killing a human. The weather can make it difficult if there was heavy rain or snow or winter temperatures. So many variables could determine if one would even be able to eat that day, let alone that week. If you could not sustain your body to be able to hold on and use energy that you already consumed days prior, you would either be lucky enough to hold on until the next meal, or unfortunately, more than likely, die. This death will continue to happen under the circumstances of life. Only those who were effective at storing and using energy will be able to continue to survive. Thus, those are the people who were more than likely the ones to continue the human genome, simply because their bodies allowed them to survive. We are more than likely related to that group of people who were effective at storing energy until the next meal. Look, that's not to say that they had the best diet in the world. We know for a pretty certain fact that most of our ancestors had horrible, unbalanced diets that affected their bodies and caused early mortality. Dr. Stanley Marion Garn famously stated that over evolutionary time, many of our ancestors ate poorly, especially during climate extremes, and they were often at risk for vitamin deficiencies, foodborne diseases, and neurotoxins. That isn't a secret, but it doesn't change the fact that food was still scarce. It wasn't until 9,500 BC in which crops and agriculture was discovered. That's about 12,000 years ago, and before that, it was thousands of years more without agriculture. And even with the rise of the Neolithic Revolution, one could not simply ravage through all of the crops and lentils at an unlimited clip. They had to eat sparingly as they create this infrastructure for plant-based foods. They were still not eating the current American diet. They were at bare maximum eating around 2 meals a day. Fast forward to 1760, where the Industrial Revolution increased production due to manufacturing products and goods. Do we enter the stage in which consistent eating became the norm? Think about that. It is currently 2018. That is only a mere 258 years ago. That, unfortunately, isn't enough time to thwart a system of eating that has existed for over 100,000 years. In the overall scheme of things, 258 years cannot even make a dent into the human genome. We were built to eat and fast every day. But you're probably asking yourself, wait.
You ate breakfast, yes? Breakfast is most important meal of day. Here, protein bar, good for bones.
Isn't breakfast the most important meal of the day? You see, the notion that breakfast is the most important meal of the day derives from a theory of correlation, but not causation. It has been observed that those who skip breakfast tend to eat less nutritious foods, so they lack necessary minerals and tend to eat more later in the day. These are all hypothetical situations, nothing concrete that connects the missing dots in regards to eating morning breakfast. As a matter of fact, a data analysis conducted in 2017 testing those who skipped breakfast versus those who did not, they noticed body weight, dietary quality scores, nutrient intake, and even metabolic parameters showed no significant difference between the two groups. We have been fed a lie. Breakfast is important, yes, but when you decide to break that fast, should and can be up to you. Well, then what happens when you fast? Why should I fast when I'm hungry all the time? Our bodies act and respond to rhythms. We aren't simply hungry because we're hungry. We are hungry because our bodies expect for us to eat. In a micro-personal perspective, we have been collectively eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You may have noticed that your sense of hunger are always heightened during those times. It's not a coincidence that proves your body's always hungry 3 times a day. It's simply a rhythm that has been forced and constructed over your personal lifetime. And it's not hard to spot biological rhythms. They're everywhere throughout your life. If you sleep and wake up at a certain time consistently, you'll notice that your body can wake up on its own without the assistance of an alarm at the very time that you have been waking up assisted by an alarm. Your body loves to create rhythm. So to flank your body with the notion that morning breakfast and lunch will be skipped doesn't sit well with your body, because you have now forcefully broken the rhythm. Your body will do everything in its power to remind you that we eat in the morning. Here's what happens. When you skip breakfast, a peptide hormone called ghrelin will release. This hormone stimulates the secretion of growth hormone from the pituitary gland and increases appetite. Ghrelin is your body fighting your physical action to forego your morning breakfast. But what happens if you fight your body's urge to eat and instead wait until later in the day to eat one meal? Will your body hit you with ghrelin tomorrow morning? Unfortunately, yes, it will, because one day of skipping breakfast isn't going to change anything in terms of your rhythm. You must create a new rhythm for your body to accept it. So it's not that you're hungry all the time, it's simply that you've taught your body to predict when you will eat and when you won't. It's essentially a biological habit, and it can be changed, but it takes work. It appears that everywhere you look, TV, online, friends, family, everyone seems to agree that it's unhealthy to skip meals and extremely healthy to eat consistently throughout the day. There have been notions to eat 6 times a day to continue this philosophy of more is better when it comes to eating. But simply because something is accepted by the masses doesn't make it true. You do not need 6 meals or even 3 meals to be able to have the nutritionally recommended amount of vitamins and minerals for your body. If you've ever read the nutrition facts label's footnote, it states that percent daily values are based on a 2,000 calorie diet. Your daily values may be higher or lower depending on your calorie needs. The FDA concluded that all daily dietary needs can be met with only 2,000 calories per day. That means all your nutrition can be condensed into 2,000 calories. So you must be thinking, well, isn't 2,000 calories too much for a single sitting? How can I eat that in a single meal? Most Americans can actually eat more than they think they can. This is proven by popular restaurant menus that exceed 2,000 calories on a single order. Take the Cheesecake Factory, for example. An order of fettuccine alfredo with chicken contains 2,660 calories. An order of pasta carbonara with chicken contains 2,640 calories. Those calories don't include your drink or your pre-meal bread or even the dessert if you dare to venture into that after your meal. That's over 3,000 calories in a single meal. And we have proven to be able to do this time and time again. So essentially, for less than a single meal at the Cheesecake Factory, we can consume our nutritional and caloric needs for the day. So yes, it can be done. Okay, so sure, it can be done, but then why do it? It's not comfortable for me, and I love to eat throughout the day, so why should I refrain? What will I get from it? The answer to that question is simply so much. There have been a multitude of studies touching on the specific question of what happens when you fast. You see, the body is very smart, and it creates plan Bs and Cs to take on everyday situations. These plan Bs and Cs derive from our lack of readily available food. Our bodies are constantly working to keep us alive. Glucose comes from all macronutrients, but it's predominantly from carbs. Carbs, then from protein, and a small percentage from fats. The body converts food into parts glucose, parts amino acid. This makes it easier to transport through our bodies to energize parts of it. For example, muscle tissue, the brain, the organs. The energy that is required is used to power our bodies. Usually, it's a 50-50 split. 50% is used and 50% is stored as body fat. The body proactively stores energy in body fat cells in the event that you do not have glucose coming in at a relatively convenient clip. If you abstain from eating for a short time, usually after about 8 to 12 hours, your body has no choice but to create energy. This is where Plan B comes into play. Your body will then start to utilize body fat storage to provide energy to your body. This is called ketosis. Instead of glucose from food, your body will use ketones produced from the liver. This will oxidize fat and keep you alive. Now, this is why intermittent fasting is extremely effective for weight loss, because it's long enough for your body to go into its Plan B, but short enough for your body to refrain from using Plan C. Plan C tends to activate after about 48 hours of fasting. You see, your body will not consistently burn only fat. It will notice that you have not been able to eat, and it will dip into amino acids as well. And these amino acids are from the ones that were lingering from your last meal. If there are no amino acids, it will unfortunately break down muscle tissue to create amino acids. But if you're constantly eating, your body will never have to use Plan B. So to be effective at burning body fat, you must create a hack that allows your body to move, to activate hormones that will produce the desired action. And that hack can be done with fasting. And in terms of health, there are a magnitude of health-related factors that are created by fasting. Fasting cuts off cancer cell formation, regulates inflammatory conditions, and lowers free radical damage. Studies done by Harvard University show that fasting can improve life longevity. Things like Alzheimer's disease can be reduced due to the autophagy state in which the cells break down and eat damaged cells to keep your cell state fresh, and even stem cell production that create new, fresh cells. So now you might be asking yourself, then why have I always been told to eat if health is so closely tied to fasting? The simple answer is money. You see, as we mentioned before about the Industrial Revolution, the Industrial Revolution didn't just change how much we eat per day, but it also sparked how much can be made. It allowed businesses to scale and build large quantities. This changed the paradigm. We were no longer mom and pop shops selling a few items here and there. We were multi-level conglomerates that can mass produce and mass sell to the average consumer. You can now be a very profitable company by focusing on the average consumer. This led institutions to push for a re-education system, a system that would perpetuate higher purchasing power. If you fast, you don't need to buy breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you fast, there's no need for you to stop at a local restaurant. The idea of fasting was counterintuitive to the new world that we were entering, thus no one cared to research it. It was collateral damage. The only thing that mattered was how can we sell more, and anything that threatened that premise was pushed aside. In a journal published by Forbes in 2015, archaeologists found that the Industrial Revolution actually sparked a rise in cancer, obesity, and arthritis. Radiologists and biologists analyzed a digital scan of over 2,500 skeletons and were able to depict multiple diseases that sparked after the Industrial Revolution. That's not a coincidence. You see, fasting has existed since forever. We have pushed away and even stigmatized what it means to fast, to refrain from eating by one's own accord, and have even gone further by stigmatizing fasting from being more than unnecessary to being an unhealthy practice. It's time we learn the truth and take back our lives and health over commercial value. We are not products of companies and institutions to use for consumption until death and then replaced by another consumer. We are humans. We want to live healthy lives, and that should be free of consumerism. But it is up to us to fight against the notion that it is wrong to fast, because the truth is that it isn't. You should give fasting a try, because honestly, at this point, what else do you have to lose? What's going on, guys? This is Edward V, and I hope you guys love my first video essay. This was a video essay that I did talking about intermittent fasting, talking about OMAD, and the history of where we were to where we're at and where we want to go with the movement of intermittent fasting. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section if you like this type of content. Obviously, I'm going to do the other type of content as well, but I always want to throw in something fresh every once in a while, so that's why I threw in this video essay. I'm gonna go ahead and put my patrons from my Patreon up on the screen. And of course, as always, guys, I'll see you on Wednesday for an FAQ. Peace.